Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony saw firsthand the progress of work on the St. Jude Hospital destroyed by fire in September 2009. The Prime Minister was accompanied by the Minister of Health, Wellness, Human Services and Gender Relations, Alvina Reynolds, government officers, contractors, workers and officials of the St. Jude Hospital. The Prime Minister said people in the south of the island and the St. Jude Hospital staff were eager for the completion of what he says will turn out to be a brand new hospital.
I think we are now approaching the closing stages. I hesitate to say that it will be all over by November. I will not take that risk because there is still a lot of work to be done. But the progress there has been very significant over the last couple of months. I don't think anyone should have any anxiety about my commitment to provide the resources to construct this hospital.
I've been told that within 3 weeks windows will be installed and then you can begin the cleaning up process and the laying of the flooring and installing equipment. It looks like a lot more work has to go into it, but I know there are various teams that have been contracted to do certain works on site.
Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony addressed the issue of costs, noting that the initial estimates for construction and equipment acquisition were being exceeded, but that this was an investment that needed to be made.
I mean, there was talk initially of a hospital being constructed at 30 million. It's now in the vicinity of 47 million. I think by completion it's going to be about 60 million. But you know what? I think it's going to be money well spent because you're going to have, as I said, a new hospital, increased facilities, brand new facilities, equipment that we never had before here at St. Jude's.
Dr. Anthony said the new hospital at St. Jude will do St. Lucia proud. He thanked the government of Taiwan for work done on the surgical wing and spoke to the workers about his satisfaction with what has been accomplished.
I spoke to many of them. They seem committed, very passionate about what they're doing. They know that this means a lot to the people of St. Lucia. And overall the quality has been good. I found nothing really to complain about in terms of the quality of the work.
The Prime Minister said when completed, St. Jude Hospital will be the most advanced in the OECS and will provide a range of service not currently available here. He says this will save St. Lucians who would normally travel to other Caribbean islands for medical attention. For the DBS News World, Alex Busquet reporting.
For South MP Dr. Kenny Anthony is finally speaking out on the matter. In an exclusive sit-down with News Force, the ex-government leader found it, quote, bizarre that an audit commissioned by the current administration would deem the structure does not comply with accreditation standards. He disclosed that both the contractor and project manager, hired by the 2006 to 2011 UWP administration, were retained upon his government's assumption of office in 2011, the latter of which remains throughout the SLP's term. He says these officials were kept on board for the purpose of continuity to see the project through to completion.
We did not in any way wish to interrupt the process because we knew that it would have taken quite some time before the hospital could be completed. So here you have a situation that the two persons entrusted with the process to see the hospital to completion were in fact appointed by the former government. We retained them. They based their designs on the blueprint that the former United Workers' Party government accepted. And now for that party to be in government to say, well, what we started all along did not satisfy international standards. Because what in fact happened was that the former government merely continued the process.
So if that is the case, what changes, if any, did the former Kenny Anthony administration make?
One, we changed contractors because the former contractor had serious problems paying workers on the site, and a new contractor was brought on board. And the second, of course, it fell to the former Labour government to find the financing for the hospital. So all of this is rather strange, very, very, very bizarre. Already the taxpayers of St. Lucia have fielded a cost of over, I think, $115 million, possibly $120 for the hospital.
The public has varying views on the St. Jude Hospital saga, with loyalists understandably split along party lines. However, for some critics, successive administrations are to blame for the delays. In the public sphere, your administration has got equal blame as it relates to the delays in the finishing the project and commissioning the hospital. From the part of the St. Lucia Labour Party, the former St. Lucia Labour Party government, what can you tell the people was the cause of those delays?
But those things were very simple. You just look at the new hospital on Millennium Highway. It's over 8 years and it's not complete. Remember, the United Workers' Party in opposition was blaming the St. Lucia Labour Party and said we couldn't commission the hospital. All kinds of things were said. They're in office for 9 months. That hospital has not opened. And they still have a few months to go because there are some challenges to deal with. For example, the question of financing, the cost of the hospital, recruiting staff and operationalizing equipment. That's going to take a huge dent on our current revenue.
According to Dr. Anthony, hospital construction is not easy.
There were a number of incomplete buildings, and it really did not make sense to give the people of Beaufort a glorified health center, meaning, of course, that you renovate the existing building. You really had to start from scratch, from afresh. And true, they had completed one major ward, so it was left for us to see the job through to the finish. And when you are assessing the entire process, you have to bear in mind too there was an issue of financing. The former government left no money behind to do the hospital. It was being done on a piecemeal basis. And you have to remember that we did receive some donations from foreign governments and foreign entities. But the bulk of the money was provided by Taiwan because I was able to secure a loan from the government of Taiwan.
The former Prime Minister claims his government inherited from the previous administration a situation where there was a piecemeal approach to construction, making changes and adjustments as the project rolled along. Miguel Favre, HTS News Force.